meticulously plan her downfall. He first told the new policy to the janitorial staff, and they were PO. He assured them, though, that he'd set it straight and told them all they had to do was make their voices heard. And he gave them a few ideas. For the next few days, they went on a strike, letting everyone know how they are underpaid and starved while working there. My uncle admitted that the strike released all the built-up frustration, and things that came out of the janitor crew were a bit more than he asked for. Some he wasn't even aware of and shocked to hear about. Mistreatment that was going on behind his back, office folks leaving too big of a mess everywhere, underpay, physical pains, long hours, etc. Now granted, a few of them my uncle was aware of, but not to the extent the janitor team described it as. So the CEO gets involved. He put in a lot of effort to negotiate and calm them down before the Korean version of the Department of Labor got involved with the lawsuit. He promised that they would be treated better and paid better. So when the dust settled, he demanded to know who was the one that implemented the policy in the first place. Bijin tried to coerce my uncle to take the fall, but he complied with what she said and took it to the CEO. He showed the new policy document signed by her, which even included a part about terminating anyone who spoke against the policy. Now the CEO was PO and was originally planning to fire his daughter. Apparently he knew about her entitled nature for a long time, but never expected it to impact so many people. Mijin begged to stay, and the CEO allowed her to do so, at the cost of a demotion from her current role. Which role was she moved to, you may ask? She was moved to the trainee position of the janitorial team. And on her first day, the CEO even said to them, "Please don't go easy on her, be strict." She quit after a mere week in her new role. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.
Welcome to r/Reddit Revenge. This is the story of someone getting back at someone with revenge after being wronged. Thank you friends for subscribing to the channel and for so many likes. The first story, D-Bag and his friend create a fake reason to get me demoted. The second story, coworker doesn't want to change shifts and I haven't changed with her. The third story, I threw the documents in the trash and it was my revenge. Today's first story is, get me fired? Say goodbye to your bonus and promotion. This happened a good long while ago. I was in high school and got a job at one of the big box stores in the computer department. This store chain had an in-house technician department, which was always where I wanted to go. After busting my A in sales for 2 years, putting up with rude customers, silly rules, and all the other glorious trappings of a retail job, I finally got a chance to be promoted to the technician department. It was not as glamorous as I thought it would be. I quickly found out that most of the repairs consisted of running the prepackaged antivirus suite, updating Windows, and doing data backups prior to wiping computers clean and reinstalling them. I always liked tinkering with hardware more, but since 80% of customers had laptops, and those repairs were deemed too complicated by corporate, we would just send the laptops out to get repaired by the third-party vendor. It was still better than sales by a long shot, and we had a great team working in the technician area, except for one dude. Let's call him Mike. He always behaved like his crap smelled like roses. He was technically a lead technician, and even though that just meant he had a little more authority, he had access to a corporate account to arrange shipments of computers to and from our store. He was acting like he was the manager of the department. Nevertheless, our actual manager was a splendid dude that took care of us, and as such, Mike's dearie did not bother any of us that much. Fast forward a little, and our awesome manager found a much better job. This opened up a spot for manager, and since the whole store's supervision was going through a shakeup, the general manager was fired for embezzlement, and all the people he hired, 90% of managers, were under review. This led to everybody trying their hardest not to F up, and the new GM decided that since our department was one of the best in the district, he would not try to hire an outsider, but will promote from within. Now, Mike was working at this store for almost 10 years at that point, and a couple of people that started working with him as sales associates were by this point managers and assistant managers. One of them, Brittany, was an assistant manager in charge of customer services and checkout. One of the conditions for Mike's official promotion to manager was to keep the #1 spot in the district performance-wise. One of the key metrics was the rejection rate from our third-party vendor. If we mistakenly sent them a software problem to fix, they would charge us extra. Mike started obsessing about the numbers, especially when it came to the rejection rate. He insisted that we would spend extra time to confirm issues, even when there were recalls from manufacturers for these items. I hated this bureaucracy, since it meant that people needed to wait almost the maximum allowed time to get their computers back. So a few times I skipped the extra diagnostics